Welcome to the Evening Game. I'm Taylor.
And I'm Guy. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome, everyone. You have you know what I've discovered about you? You have such a radio voice.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I'm Guy. Thank you, everyone. You sound like you could be on FM radio.
A girl I used to work with said that I've got the Richard Mercer love song dedication voice.
I don't know who that is. Is that old FM show where it was just love songs?
Oh yeah, back in the day, yeah.
There was some funny ones that came through there.
Oh, mate, because you used to
do this one's for Jessica. I love you, Jessica.
Jessica has just called in and said that she thinks her husband's cheating on her.
Oh, fuck.
This song goes out to her husband. I hope he's getting nailed.
I didn't know that love story segment with Richard What's-His-Face got that deep and dark.
Oh, I twisted it really bleak just then.
Yeah, right. Was that an Australian thing or an American thing or both?
No, it's Australian, yeah.
Yeah, right. I remember that, but that's died now, isn't it?
I don't know. I've got no idea.
I don't really listen. Yeah. That's another. I don't actually listen to the radio.
Neither do I.
I'm podcasts and Spotify playlists.
I'm just Spotify, all the way. Yeah.
Because that's actually a talking point. I fucking hate Australian talkback radio.
Yeah.
When you think I don't know if anyone listens to Kyle and Jackie O, but I can't stand it, bro.
Really?
I can't stand it.
I feel like back when he was really shock jockey, everybody was he was really polarizing. Whereas I think he's now gotten a bit more relaxed in his later days. You know, he's had a kid, he's sort of a little bit more, he's actually a little left leaning as well, which is which is quite surprising. But I mean, there was other one, Tim and Marty used to be a really good one.
They were okay. I used to enjoy their Fridays in the sauna or the spa or whatever it was, the hot tub.
Yeah.
They used to just get the sound effects.
Yeah.
And you know what I loved about them the most? It wasn't I feel like sometimes Kyle Sanders is one of those guys for me that I think especially early in his career, just tried to be controversial for the sake of being controversial.
Yeah, it's definitely...
And he got a couple of those gigs on what was it, Australia's Got Talent or a few of those things, and he continued that.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, he was a bit of a wanker.
Yeah, I mean, he was shock jockey. You'd get, get the public... Yeah, I know. This, for anybody listening not in Australia, they don't know who we're talking about or, the relevance of this.
I feel like the grievances for talkback radio would be the same across the globe. You listen to 30 minutes of kind of bullshit and then 40 minutes of advertisements.
Yeah, well, too true. What I've really been enjoying is the GTA 5 clips. I've been sharing them to everybody of the girl who comes over on Pop FM, and she's those. I
don't know if
so
are they all true though.
They're legit. They are
actually
legit in the game because I mean that's Rockstar's sense of humor. I know they're fantastic.
There's been some rogue ones. There's been some ones from that kind of radio in GTA 5 that I wouldn't even mention on this podcast.
No, that's really questionable,
Even
humor.
Though we try and be tongue-in-cheek, there's some bloody red hot ones there, mate.
So red hot, yeah.
Hell of an episode lined up. Cyberpunk 2020.
2027. 2077.
Oh, no, 2020. 2077, but released in 2020.
Yeah, correct, yes. But before we do get on to Cyberpunk, and obviously plenty to talk about on that, correct me if I'm wrong, have we got any to cover off from last episode?
Yeah, we've got two. We said, I think that you said, and I think this was just an honest mistake, we were talking about the release of Red Dead Redemption and how successful it was, and then I think you came through and you said that, but then when GTA 5 released, it kind of eclipsed it. Obviously, GTA 5 came out way earlier than that.
Right, okay.
So... Yeah. That the Rockstar had already set the kind of bar with GTA 5, and whilst Red Dead Redemption 2 was incredibly successful, it didn't really hold a candle to GTA 5 though, and GTA 5 didn't come out later and eclipse it at all. It came out before.
Right, yeah. So maybe the order was wrong.
Yeah, the order was slightly wrong.
I definitely think Red Dead eclipsed GTA, or maybe am I doing it again? I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know. The other one that we had was South Park. The South Park episode that I was talking about, which it is an entire episode. A lot of the puns in that episode are around the whole town playing Red Dead Redemption 2. And I love South Park, man. When you think about the cartoons that we grew up on, they're the best. They're 100% the best. Netflix has some absolute spanking cartoons that come out. But when you think Simpsons, Family Guy, South Park, amongst a few others, that's what our generation grew up on.
Yeah.
Holy shit, what an agenda and a lineup for cartoons. Nothing's gonna from 2000 to 2015, that is the golden era of those cartoons, man. And
agreed,
South Park was what was it? Is it Trey Parker and what's his name?
Yeah, what's his name? I mean South Park I think they deserve so much accolade, respect, because their sense of humor is so niche, but on the money, like on the button, and they take on issues and topics that I don't think no other animated show would even be tempted to. Like Family Guy, sometimes you go, "Whoa, that's questionable," but it'll be an aside, it'll be a little quick joke. Whereas South Park will go, "Nah, fuck you, we're going to do an entire episode on Kanye and how much of a weirdo or whatever," and you're just like,
sticks.
Jesus, and then he even gets embarrassed about it. Like it's fantastic, like art imitating, it's just beautiful.
Thank God stuff like that exists. I love that there are people out there that have such a creative edge like that and are willing to take risks as well.
Oh, yeah. Otherwise, what a boring world we'd live in without sort of that being able to rip things to shred, you know.
And just kind of like, if you don't laugh, you'll cry kind of thing.
Yeah, a little bit. Quick funny aside, just before we do get into the game. So I went to the Gabs Beer Festival on
You've been busy lately. Ghost tours last week.
I know.
I've just been hermiting. Just working away.
I have been gaming though.
Nice.
I did finish Senua's Sacrifice, Hellblade 2. I finished it.
Have you been gaming in the evening?
I have been gaming when I can in the 45 minutes I've got for a designated lunch break while I shovel food in my mouth.
Love the WFH gaming lunchtime session.
Oh, working from home sometimes there's the beautiful moments like that. But
fantastic.
Hellblade was fantastic for it because it's a quick 5-8 hour kind of game. So it was really easy to knock that one off, which we should do an episode on at some point. We've sort of been doing the top liners as of late. Yeah. So I was at Gabs Beer Festival, and they were you go in and it's niche beers and it's a whole fucking thing at the ICC in Sydney, and they've got a whole section where you can go up and choose flavored beers, and you have like a little paddle and you write the numbers of what beers you want. So I'm looking through the list and I just like lager. I'm a straight lager drinker. None of this weird fucking fluffy flowery shit. I don't get why people drink it. I think everybody
hate a craft beer.
I think anybody who drinks it is lying to you. They'll look you in the eye and swallow it going, it tastes delicious.
What, a craft beer?
No,
that's not true.
These ones that are like fucking,
like hops and like
jasmine
made
infused
from different
fucking
and stuff.
shit. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so it's got a whole list of all these varying beer flavors. And I write, okay, I'll try this. That sounds nice. It's got a vanilla, whatever. I don't know. I'm just like ticking things off the hat.
4 beers in, you're just regretting your decision.
Oh, I sat down with these 5 little fucking, shot glasses worth. I took a sip of each one and was like, disgusting. Disgusting. Every one of them was disgusting. I wanted to spit them all out. Of course, one of the other guys there is like, let's have a drinking game. And I ended up sculling all 5 of them. Terrible decision. Anyway, so I go off and I'm like having a nice time. We're doing a bunch of the little arcade games. I come back. This guy I was drinking with before, he's got another set of 5 in front of him. Every single one of them looks like fucking liquid licorice. It's just black. It's just the oil looking in his fucking
I've never
thing.
liked a dark beer.
Disgusting. Anyway, so he's sitting there and he goes, Guy, you'll love this one. Beautiful one.
He doesn't know you that well.
I know. I've just met the guy. I'm like, all right, fine. I'll give it a sip. I give it a sip. I wanted to vomit immediately. I struggled not to spray his face with this stuff. Guess what he says to me?
What?
What the flavor is. It's been brewed with fucking cow shit.
No, it hasn't.
I mean, but that is literally what it says on the thing.
They do that with...
I don't know if like how the cow shit or whatever fucking animal it was.
It's something to do with the fermentation of it.
Probably. But why the fuck is anybody putting it in a goddamn beer and serving it to a human being? Riddle me that.
I love it when you're outraged. Just swearing just goes straight up.
Yes. Apologies, any children beneath the age
No, but I mean, we are an explicit podcast, but they do that with some coffees as well, man.
Insane.
They ferment it with like there's some bean in South America that a animal eats and then they ferment the shit and make it into coffee.
Yeah.
Which is like, look, I'm a foodie, but I'm not that adventurous, bro. I draw the line at like chicken feet.
Yeah, okay. It's fair. Okay.
Like I really love Japanese food, and Chinese food and a lot of the Asian dishes, but once there's chicken feet in there, I'm like, I don't know, that's where I tap out.
Yeah, I mean, fair. Yeah, I'm probably pretty similar. I don't know. I just looking at it. If it looks weird, if it smells kind of weird, why am I putting it in my mouth?
They just serve you the beer as well, and the brewer's just standing there with big eyes looking at you, being like, "What do you think?" And you're like, "Oh, that's well, it's a beer, I guess."
Think about how many of these top nut craft nut lefties are going like, "Oh, it's delicious."
It's like they're trying to navigate into the tea space. Leave the jasmine for a hot drink before bed. Yeah. But you are like just a super dry guy.
I'm just a straight lager man, nothing crazy.
Whenever we go to the pub, you're like, what do you want, guy? And you're like, a soup. And if there's someone new, they're like, a soup? What?
I've had a mate go up and ask for soup and the bartender go, we don't serve hot
Obviously.
soup here. Like, come on, bro.
On Senua's Saga, just, first impressions for myself, disappointing.
Oh, yeah.
Look, we'll review it at another point in time, but it's one of the games that we had on the list of exciting drops for this year. And look, I'm yet to actually finish it, but first impressions are flop.
Yeah, it's so far a thumbs down, it turns into a middle finger.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way to put it.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that another day. And anything else? What else is happening?
What else is happening? Geez, yeah. I mean, plenty's going on.
Actually, Assassin's Creed finally named their game.
Yes,
so
I saw that.
when we kind of went over it the first time, they hadn't nailed down the name, and it was just called Assassin's Creed Red, but they've named it Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Shadows,
So the creativity was flaring in that room. Release date's still 12th of November.
Yeah,
I'm actually really excited for that.
Yeah.
Because that kind of aligns with a lot of the games I love. Like, you think Sekiro and Elden Ring, it's very like ancient.
Yeah, I mean, they're finally doing Japan, which is obviously a great time period to do an Assassin's Creed game. It feeds obviously into that world.
Yeah.
It'll be a Ubisoft title. They're a bit of paint by numbers always, but why not?
Could be good.
More of the same isn't always a bad thing.
Absolutely. But today, we're on the opposite side of the spectrum. We're looking very futuristic. This game was hugely anticipated. It was released by Projekt Red. It's a full publishing company called Projekt, and they have their different subsidiaries, but it was a team effort for Projekt Red. Came out in 2020. It's the action RPG, Cyberpunk 2077.
Yep.
And I think you mentioned that there was a huge cult following for this game. I think you said this even outperformed Elden Ring.
Like in terms of quantity purchased, I was quite surprised to see 25 million units sold, which eclipse Elden Ring by a couple of million units, which I was quite surprised. And that is recent numbers. And I think it got propped up, obviously, with the Phantom Liberty DLC, really increased the sales numbers on it. So, I mean, Cyberpunk was based on a tabletop game. As you said, CD Projekt Red, developed 500 odd people, did it back in 2020. This game was one of the most anticipated titles I think I've ever seen in the gaming landscape. It was fever pitch keenness for this game.
This was billboards and bus signs, and I think there's even a couple of celebrities that featured in this. They
spent a motz on the marketing, like through the fucking roof. And once, I've obviously complained about this before because I got on the bandwagon. I was excited for it. I drank the Kool-Aid. When this game dropped, along with the entire gaming world, it was one of the biggest flops ever in gaming history this isn't what you fucking promised us. And the company, CG Projekt Red, they were very deceptive in the way they went about it. Not only were their marketing sort of doing what they dreamed the game to be, but not what it ended up turning out to be, they only released PC versions of the game. So they didn't allow reviewers or game testers and things like that in the public to test on Xbox and PS5 or PS4 or whatever it was at the time to suss out, is there problems? And my God, were there fucking problems. And to the extent where it was taken off the PSN store, this stuff is really well documented. There was a class action lawsuit against them where over $1 million was paid out to investors and things like that. So this game on drop was a shit stain.
Just a shit show as well, by the sound of things.
The company went from the highs of The Witcher, where it was like you guys are top liners, in the conversation of the rock stars of the world of just producing phenomenal games, to your name was in mud and you were the joking of the gaming industry. And since then to now, if we were to review that game back then, wouldn't even fucking register in the upwards of a 5. We would just rinse it for all it was worth. It was not that great, and the technical issues really would ruin it. Reviewing it now, this game is now on the list of the fucking Rising from the Phoenix Ashes No Man's Sky revival level redemption arc.
No Man's Sky revival. You reckon? Because I thought No Man's Sky from launch was that a flop as well?
It was a flop as well. Big flop.
And they've worked on that game.
Worked on it hard,
so much. But this is always a problem, and I said it with Dragon's Dogma. When I watched the trailer for Dragon's Dogma, I was like, this looks great.
So did I.
But then as a seasoned gamer, you sit there and you really take notice of that little message down the bottom right of the video that says this isn't based on actual gameplay. And then you're, okay, How different is it going to be?
I know.
And it's like look, on a much smaller scale, it's like the age-old trap of like you see an ad for an iPhone game, you're like, that looks really fun.
Yeah.
And then you jump in and it's nothing like it.
Kate Upton, like
it's
dancing
just
around. You're like,
riddled with ads, and it's got a useless UI. You can't get around it. You're like, how? What? It's just it was just a money grab.
It's a money grab. Yeah, they spend all their money on the marketing, and like, no matter how many times I watch these fucking trailers, I dare to dream. You know, I think it's going to be what they're setting it out to be, and then of course it fucking isn't. So, which is why. This is a gaming podcast, and you see this on Reddit pages. You know, we talk about it all the time. Do not fucking pay for games. Don't do it, because you're then just giving money to them, and they're going to continue to ramp up the prices. And look at Ubisoft. We've talked about this before. Some of their next game coming out, the Star Wars one, you can get the ultimate version for $200.
That's just
$200 on a pre-download thing. It's ridiculous.
That's just insane. And I really try and stay on the wavelength that is like, I'm not going to become like a huge fanboy of something.
Yeah.
You know, or what you can do, gamers, when you're listening, is let us be the hamsters.
Let us test it and let it, yeah.
We'll come on review and we'll tell you exactly
give you our
the
honest
ins and
opinion.
outs.
Yes.
And we won't do the old IGN thing. I'm going to stay true to this pledge of like, it's just a fucking 10. Not doing it. It's going to be, we're going to roar it.
I mean, this was another one of those games where the ratings of this game by some of these gaming companies before it launched were like, this is not just going to be the game of the year, this is the game of the fucking century. They went so hard, and so that's why everybody was backing it in to be as good as it was going to be. So then it comes out and everyone's like, your reviews are now erroneous, like they're not legitimate, because
great word.
How the hell could you have had that opinion having played this? Like, if you're going to fuck me, look me in the eye. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I hear you. And it's also, I think when you set the bar with The Witcher as well, how can you miss so poorly on the next one? Like, because don't you know what your player base is into at that point? Like, you clearly had a huge cult following here for this release.
Yeah.
And a lot of them would have been huge fans of your publishing company because of that previous release, which is Witcher. You know what your gamers are about. You know what they love. So how can you miss so poorly?
It's they got done by the sheer weight of people demanding that game.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to delay it any further. And they were pushing their developers to do 6-day weeks, driving them into the ground to try and get this game ready. And then they were just cutting parts of the game out just to get it ready on time.
And like this comes back to the point where it's like, okay, I wouldn't mind at that point in time a push of a release date. Look, it's not the best, but like we're waiting around for GTA 6 right now, but we all know when that comes out, it's going to be the game it's promised.
Think to yourself,
Rockstar doesn't cave under that pressure, but Projekt Red obviously did.
Yeah. You just want to be a fly on the wall during that meeting when they were discussing this, and obviously they've put their hand up since and said decisions were made. But I would say you had the gaming world in the palm of your hand. You had fever pitch. This game was like the last season of Game of Thrones. You had everybody vying for this thing. If you then go, you know what, guys? We're not going to release it, and we're going to wait 2, 3, 5 more years, which we're now, what are we, when it was 2020, we're 2024 now, 4 years later, they've got the DLC out and they're finally where it needs to be. But think of the amount more fever pitch it would have been, how many more people would have been absolutely pumped for this game, and you could have perfected it, and the technology would have been there.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have spent this much more money on trying to redeem yourself to get yourself out of the hole that you fucking put yourself in.
And this is where I think that's where Rockstar holds all the cards. Whereas they don't need a lot of individual investors that put a lot of pressure on their timeline. A lot of it's self-funded from their end.
Yeah.
So they can dictate what we do, when we do it, when it's released. And you see the same thing with like Game Freak when releasing Pokemon games and other publishers that do, especially The Legend of Zelda, they do that as well. When it's self-funded, they have the power to do that. So there is another side of the coin there, but at the same time, like when you think of ROI and you think, I heard a saying the other day that's operate in a space where you always feel like you're going to get found out and then act accordingly. You can't just drop a game and like, what were you expecting? People weren't going to play it and have opinions. Yeah, exactly. And like, something I trust a lot these days are the reviews on the Xbox store. Yeah. Look, some of them are ridiculous, but most of them are actually honest gamers that jump on, that were, expecting this drop, were waiting for it, and they give an honest review. And you can actually read 4 or 5 reviews within the Microsoft Store, and you can get an idea as to what are the bugs I'm going to run into. Is this worth it? Is it not? How are publishers in 2024, with the amount of access that we have to information, not foreseeing that they're going to get found out doing something like this?
I just think it was a pump and dump. I just don't think they thought it was going to be as bad.
Or they were thinking, you know what? Let's just release it. We'll get the initial profit, and then we can reinvest that into the game, which is all well and good, but you can't promise a product and miss like that. It just does not work anymore. And you're right, they've had to dig themselves out of a very serious grave.
It is a big problem in the gaming industry, this rush to finish a game. And there is talk of GTA is currently in the similar kind of thing of pushing their developers to pump it out and doing huge hours. That's why a lot of them are wishing to unionize to try and prevent the sort of forced laboring that occurs for this. And
just fair.
Interesting with Cyberpunk, one of the things I read on it was that some of the bonuses for developers was based on the reviews that the game got. So imagine you're a developer and you only get your bonus if the reviews are positive. That is wild to me. That
it's like a vicious cycle that's working against you.
But it's crazy that it's an outside source which is dependent on your bonus. As if the management team wouldn't look at it and go, "You've done exactly what we've asked you to do. It's perfect. I can play it as a human being and go, I asked you to mean that I could run on walls. I can run on walls. But there's your bonus."
That's one of the longest standing agreements in entertainment. It's like actors, they get. When actors are in movies, they get their kind of their retainer or their stipend, and then they get a kicker based on the profit and the success. Yeah. So that is a thing that has been in entertainment for a while.
It's crazy to think that it's dependent on the reviews, though.
That is weird.
Acting in a movie, and then it's okay,
just go straight ROI, wouldn't you?
Yeah, if you wouldn't just go the millions.
Oh, we got a 1 star there. There goes your food money, dickhead.
Soz Hemsworth, you're out of your dosh.
What? I was just doing 6 days a week for you. What do you mean?
I was driving.
Labor equals wages, dickheads. What do you give me more money? Yeah, but I guess what we're saying is that if you downloaded this game upon release, we hear you.
Yeah.
Don't worry. What you thought resonated with everyone. But, back then, again, you're right, might have been around the 4s or 5s, but we're reviewing it based on today. If you were to download it, what the game looks like. And thankfully, it's incredibly different.
It's so different. We're talking night and day, of Night City. That's basically what they've done here. Over the course of the 4 years, they've done numerous releases. The DLC was well timed because it came out shortly after an anime on Netflix called Edge Runner, which was very highly rated and got a lot of views, and that kind of rebirthed Cyberpunk. And the DLC then came out. DLC had Idris Elba, very well-known actor. The banking on this, same with Keanu Reeves, that led a lot of people back into the fold to give this game another try. And if you're one of those people who've recently played the game since they fixed it, I'm fucking jealous of you because you don't have the memory and the PTSD, the traumatic stress
that's a bit dramatic.
Of this fucking game when it first got released. But it's like finding out Christmas wasn't real. You've been so hyped for this game.
Yeah.
It drops, you play it, and it's dog shit. And you just go, the amount of articles and trailers I watched in the lead up, the amount of conversations. I remember chatting to you and Kyle just going, this is the game. This will be
remember
the
that.
game. And you then look like a fraud, anyway. But let's move to modern day.
Though, there's so many cult classics, especially from an anime perspective, that have elements of them in this game, like Ghost in Shell.
Yeah,
it's so similar to that in terms of abilities and missions.
Yeah.
Love, Death, Robots. There's so much of the sci-fi element in that.
Yeah,
it's kind of anthology that you see, riddled within this game. So. It was tough from a creative perspective because that's the type of gamer and person that wants that level of entertainment that would navigate towards a game like this.
Oh, yeah.
And when you set the bar so high in trying to remold those cult classics, you take a lot of pressure on, and you need to do it right. Yeah. But again,
the pressure was through the roof because of who they are, because of their backlog, the Witcher series. That's why they had that pressure on them. But it is a good segue talking about the cyberpunk kind of world of it.
I think let's talk about world build in Night City.
World building, so storyline world building, our category, our sort of counterbalances. So the world building points I've got is the actual map and world that you are in is fantastic.
Yeah.
The atmosphere, the music, the gangs, the cops, all of that is really, really well done. Once they've fixed it and you're then driving around this city, you feel it doesn't quite have the Red Dead Redemption or GTA 5 lived-in element of it, if it's like of NPCs going on their day-to-day sort of stuff, night and day. There's sort of slight changes to shops being open, not really, but the atmosphere is really cool. Like, they've done that well. You do feel like you're in a futuristic city, and you see some pretty crazy things just driving around.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You get really engrossed in this world. Like, there are two things that stand out to me from a world, or actually three. The first is the environmental changes from area to area. Like, you've got the city, then you've got the very posh element of the city, then you've got the slums, then you've got kind of like the outback, if you will, where it gets really like dirt roady.
Solar farms and things. Yeah.
And the good thing is like, in GTA 5, they did that really well as well, but sometimes it was like a 10-minute in-game drive to get out to like, your drug warehouse. Whereas in Cyberpunk 2077, I feel like it's a couple of minutes and you can be in a completely different area. So I loved that. The second thing is it really engrosses you in how volatile Night City is. Yeah. Like, you're right. You can drive 2 blocks and you're in another gangster's territory. They're all hanging out on the street corner, and there's problems if you get out and kind of stamp on their turf per se.
Yeah.
And the other one was that it just makes sense to me. Like, the way that cops interact with the crimes that you commit, how they chase you, how you have to get away from them, like, that all makes sense from an environmental world build perspective. So that was really refreshing. And I think because I revisited Cyberpunk 2077 in the I'm just going to start calling it Cyberpunk. I'm going to keep fucking up to date. I revisited it very recently because I think I downloaded it initially, kind of got halfway through and was like, I'm over this. And then I came back and it made me realize how much I've been yearning for a good open world game.
Yeah.
And Night City gave me everything that I was looking for. And those 3 things I mentioned were my biggest tick boxes.
Yeah, I mean, this game on paper had all the hallmarks of being one that would tick all my boxes of an ARPG, futuristic world. I love that sort of stuff. The storyline, the characters, the world, the upgrades, the enhancements, the body enhancements.
Well,
I'm sort of skipping over this. Let's talk storyline. So, storyline, you're playing as V. You get to choose what this guy looks like and sort of the body parts to him. You get 3 starting kind of options that the relevance of that only really plays in kind of a few sections here and there and a couple of conversations and just your starting point, but it doesn't really impact the game too much in terms of very linear storylines from these 3 starting kind of profiles you can begin at. I think it's sort of an outback rebel, a corporate dog, and then like a street kid, a street urchin or something. I think from memory is.
And you're very much like a rogue, kind of makes her own work. Errand
you sort
boy
of
or girl.
like a hitman for hire kind of thing. I can't remember what the term is they've got in the game, but
exactly right.
Yeah, so then the game kicks off. We won't go into the story too much, and obviously we try to avoid spoilers. But Keanu Reeves eventually comes into the game, is a really key character, and plays a crucial role throughout the course of the game as this guy called Johnny Silverhand, who is a rock star, and we're on storyline. I fucking found him annoying.
Well, I was before we get onto that, like, he ends up being a virus in your brain because you're very much like a cyborg human in a way in this game. Like, the mods that you can make to yourself, you're very much a machine in a human shell.
Yeah.
And you get, through the main mission, the main heist, you have to upload him into your psyche, and he's a virus, and essentially he's kind of killing you throughout the game. That's the loose storyline. Yeah. But I'm with you. I don't know if I like seeing familiar figures in games.
You know what it was? I didn't mind it being Keanu Reeves. I didn't mind them putting Idris Elba and him in the game. Like, I actually thought that was an ingenious
But it's a marketing ploy.
Oh, it so is. But I mean, they've got acting now. So it's film kind of merging into gaming. Like, I had no problem with that. And there's been plenty of other games that have had cameos and put famous people or voices into games. No issues with that. My issue is with the character they actually made him to be. It's a futuristic world. Why the fuck are you still listening to a dude on a guitar he was just cringe. Cringe.
You reckon what he represented was just a miss?
It was just missed on me. Like, it doesn't resonate with me. Every time I saw him, I was like, you're just a drunk, off-cut, musician, rebel, hitman guy. Like, I just didn't like him at all. Like, him playing Neo, him playing fucking John Wick. Put him in the game. Put that guy in the game. That guy would have fantastic time. You put a Neo-like character in this game, beautiful. I reckon it would play beautifully. But him, I just didn't get it. It just annoyed me.
Kind of like the voices in Senua's Saga. It kind of gets to a point you're like, this is cool. And then after like 2 missions, you're like, dude, shut up.
It was like that. Yeah. Every time he popped in, I was like, oh, like, go away, dude.
It doesn't really serve a purpose either. It's not like it really plays into your decision making. They tried to do that, but it kind of just confuses you as to what to do next. It's like hang on, mate. Like, I'm trying to... It's like, as a gamer, the one thing I love about gaming is that I can make my own decisions based on how I want to play the game. And you're right. He's just there kind of telling you things. And you're like, okay, does what I do next now based on your advice change things? But it doesn't.
It's such a tonal gear shift where you just come out of like a crazy fight scene and you're popping heads and it's insane. And then Keanu Reeves pops out and he goes like,
what did you
some
think of that,
philosophical fucking thoughts and shit. And you're just like, just stop crying around, you loser.
Take your sunglasses off, son.
Just slap him.
You just... He's meant to epitomize like the badass in like Night City, and you're just like, would you shut the fuck up, bro?
Oh god.
What about mechanics? What do you think? Something that threw me, and I don't know. I still don't know how I feel about it. Was doing this in first person. From a shooter perspective, it's fantastic. But I would have loved a mechanic where I could have switched it off and gone back to third person and run around.
I think they did do that.
Did they bring that in? I thought that was a mod that they brought.
Yeah, no, I think by the post 2.0 there was a little bit of you could switch the cameras up, but I didn't mind the first person element. It's a first person shooter, then it would switch to third when you got into a vehicle.
A vehicle, yeah.
Yeah. Which is fairly standard. So, like, I didn't have any real problem with the first-person element of it. You know, I found when I went back and played the DLC, the shooting mechanics were pretty cool. You know, and I think in mechanics we should feed in a huge range of weapons.
Yeah.
The hacking, the sort of the ability to sort of hack someone and light them on fire remotely, the sneaking, the jumping, the mantis arms, the gorilla arms. You know, there was a lot of ranges to how you could actually play this game. And I respected that.
Two sides to that coin.
Well,
yeah, I agree with you. Two sides to that coin is I loved the control I had over how I went about missions. Do I want to do this stealth? There's very much like a Watch Dogs element in this. Do I want to take over cameras and start, malfunctioning different equipment to distract people? I loved that.
Yeah. But question on that though, because this is such like a question I think gamers ask themselves. If there is a stealth mechanic in a game, I can't help myself but play stealth. I don't know what it is. There's every time I play and it's like, oh, hack a camera and then you can see what's around the corner. I then methodically think out every person that I've got to kill in order and I know what I know you charge in there fucking guns blazing.
No, I do stealth. Why do you think I love like Assassin's Creed so much?
I don't know. I just had it like I'm picturing you playing Doom, just going like fuck yeah.
But that's different. I mean, you can't rip off some of the enemies in Doom have so much health, bro.
Right.
And once one sees you, you've got 60 coming for you.
I love the idea of Doom
way.
Just creeping around.
There's just no chance. But you know why people automatically switch to that stealth is because it takes a certain skill. I think we place that in terms of how can I get through this really without being noticed.
Yeah,
and
there's a satisfaction there.
Yeah, and when you do stealth, it means that you've used all of your resources very well.
Yeah.
You've used all of your hacking very well. You've navigated that area or that map very well, and you've methodically planned out your mission, which is so powerful when it comes to the autonomy that you give to gamers because that's what we enjoy.
Which
right?
I think I agree with you and they often will hide like little nuggets and better weapons and like loot and stuff in hidden sections that often you're stealthing to find those things that you kind of naturally come across them. But yeah, so like I think it is. In doing this pod, when we talk about the kind of archetype characters we always choose, and I sort of say to myself, I always do the warrior charge in there. It's making me question how I game. To then next time, if I was to ever go back and play Cyberpunk, I will play it as a rage-induced charge-in berserk character because in these games, I tend not to play it that way. Like it's weird. Like I almost feel like I'm counter with some RPGs. I often play stealth, but then with things like Elden Ring, I'll go. I won't play an arch. I'll play a fucking run in there, charge fighter, like
strength, dexterity.
Yeah, it's making me really question the sort of the type. I want to change it up.
That's also what I liked about this is that you actually had the choice every single time. Do I want to? Because I have some great clips lately from Cyberpunk, where I've blasted in, I've used my invisibility, I've thrown grenades, I've used like a double sawed-off shotgun and blasted that guy's head off. And like there are some really cool clips I have of blasting in there, and then there are some really challenging ones that I've been disappointed I haven't been able to get through it in a full stealth mode.
I mean, there's clips you can find on YouTube of going, this is a 200-hour Cyberpunk player doing his thing, or her thing, and you can see them just going ham on these fucking gangsters.
Attempt number 5,708.
Yeah. Watch me perfect this.
For the gram.
For the gram.
On top of that, though, let's talk about character build, because obviously how you go about missions has a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
I thought the character build was really great, especially from building an initial character. I mean, we spoke about Dragon's Dogma, how you create someone in your mind's eye, and it's the same in Cyberpunk. Like you could literally from bareback naked build the character that you wanted. Like I spent like 40 minutes in the character creation screen going through what I wanted my character to look like.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see yourself in mirrors in the game, and that's sort of really the only kind of time where you kind of come across yourself. It was a good build design. Yes, I agree with you.
Big, however, I think at some point it becomes too much. And I think Cyberpunk may have crossed that line. Like, my God, the amount of upgrades, the amount of reading that you had to do on different abilities, the amount of currency that you had to upgrade your stuff when you got to a Ripper dock, and if you overdid it, it made it difficult. Like if you did add a second melee thing, you'd have you'd have to cycle through like 4 different weapons before you know what I mean?
There was a bit of that, where there was a lot of cycling, I remember.
And just upgrade, so many different upgrades.
There was tons. So the DLC revolutionized the upgrade tree and simplified it, changed it up, and did a much better job of the original one. So it does. Having played the DLC, it does give it sort of redeem itself in that category. But so the character dev of upgrading yourself, the hacks, the deck in your head that you then choose the hacks that you go onto, the gorilla arms, the mantis blades, all really cool. Give it credit where it's due. Talking to the actual development of the human element of it, of V's journey, one, I found him plain. I was not engaged with who this person was, and the whole journey is, will he get Johnny Silverhand out of his head before it kills him? Yeah.
Can I give you a hack here, a little gaming life hack? Whenever you're doing like an action RPG like this, take on a female protagonist.
Okay.
I don't know why, but it adds like an extra level of like, I'm punching above my weight here. Like I'm this skinny, like 5'6" girl who just goes into like huge headquarters full of henchmen and just rips them all to shreds. And for some reason, it makes it a little bit more engaging.
I'll make a promise to you. Next time a game like this comes out, I will choose the female protagonist and I will play in the complete counter way to how I usually have played, and we'll reconvene.
There's something about the girl like getting her own kind of thing. I don't know. I really like playing female protagonists. Like I love Wraith and Apex. I love Senua and Senua's Sacrifice. I made myself a girl in Cyberpunk. I don't know. It just adds a different. Like I feel like the development's better. The relationships that you have with the NPCs are different.
I don't
know. And the narrative is different too. Like when one of those huge gangster bosses sits across you at a cafe and kind of threatens you, and you go, shut the fuck up, you little cuck. Like it feels different, I don't know.
No, I mean, I seldom do it. I don't know why. I'm just sort of, I'm a man. I'll pick the male character, I guess. It's rather, I've never really thought about it.
Break that. What is it called? Habit.
Yeah,
I suppose, for lack of a better word. Loot and extras.
So loot and extras. I mean, should we do? We've done film mechanics, but challenge and entertainment. So, so we'll finish with loot and extras. I like finishing with loot and extras. Combat, not that challenging. Like I don't know how many times I actually died. And I think there was some boss battles in it. I remember one really tough one, but again, wasn't super challenging.
Well, because it's not turn-based, it's difficult to add a fair amount of challenge in. Like imagine if you just walked in somewhere and someone just shot a rocket launcher at you. You'd be like, well, that's not fun, is it?
I think
and like we also have a pretty high benchmark when it comes to FPS skill.
Yeah.
So like we've been playing shooters for decades now.
Yeah, I mean it's that thing of going. If I play a game like this, I should really probably be putting it on a veteran difficulty and not just going in on a normal one. But yeah, I didn't find it too challenging. I did like the ways there were so many different ways to approach every situation. And you'd sort of, do you jump through the window? Are you crawling through the thing? Are you coming in the front door? And then obviously the skill set that you have and using them to your advantage, that all worked really well. Was I entertained? Challenge and entertainment. Yes, I was. It was a very entertaining game for the most part, apart from the occasional Johnny Silverhand fuck-offs. But
the only thing I'll say in the entertainment space, sorry to cut you off, is it's a game that I really like and enjoy, but it's a game that I really only play for like 2 hours at a time.
I mean,
because after a while you do a couple missions like, all right, it's a bit of the same.
Well, I mean, so coming to that, in the loot and extras, moving on to it, I've got side quests were more entertaining than the main quest.
Agreed.
I really enjoyed the side quests. I think, CD Projekt Red is renowned for having great side quests, and they were great. And I often found myself going, I've got to do the next main mission. Like it's a chore just to get more of the additional parts of the game to open up for me. The side quests were the main meal for me often, and the main quest was the sort of
The other thing I'll say on that is like, don't give me too much to do. Like I feel like in this game, the phone was constantly ringing in the game. Because you'd just be driving around and someone's giving you another mission here and another thing there. And you're like, what is the main mission? What should I be doing?
True.
And there was a little bit of more of the same. Like I have a lot of fun whenever I jump on Cyberpunk now. But you'll rarely catch me playing it for more than 2 hours at a time. In the extra space, though, I thought they did really well. Like, I don't know if you collected them all, but there's these... This is what I love. It's not so much the Korok seeds. There's not that many of them, but they had the tarot cards.
Tarot cards, yeah.
I really liked that.
I didn't mind that.
And I liked finding a new one. And I liked actually reading the lore behind that card. And the story that it told. Like, I've been looking for like a hang-up piece with all of those tarot cards in like a collage. I haven't found one yet. I might make it myself. Yeah. Stand by. From an extras perspective, liked it.
I think loot and extras arguably is its strongest category. The unique weapons, the unique cars, like some of the unique weapons you come across in this, you got the gun that talks, some of the sidewinder things, the bullets that go around the corner. I thought the unique weapons and the different types of cars you could come across was a really big tick for me. Along with obviously the side quests. Obviously there was fast travel eventually was put in. It was one of the last things they put into the game.
But you don't use it, do you?
Well, you don't, because driving around is so much more fun.
But also you have to kind of fast travel from a point. You don't fast travel to a point.
Well, you need to go to one of those. Get in a tram stop, and then ride the rail.
But they have also those.
Watch the entire game
on
the rail, which is nice.
I would say that's not really fast travel. That's like passive slow travel. Whereas like you can, it's kind of like just like getting on your horse, and it's like, well, if you're on a road, it'll just free ride, and then you can just go and make a coffee while it's doing it. Yeah. But like fast travel for me is like they have those pods around the city that you go to, and then you can fast travel to another
the little
pod.
Machines in the bottom.
Which is, I don't use it because I'm almost never around them. And I'm not going to one. Like, I'm not going to drive to a fast travel point to fast travel. I'll just fucking drive there.
Yeah. No, that's a fair point. The other one was the musical score I thought was really good. And in the DLC sequence, I remember there was a part where you get to like this high-rise building and there's a huge sort of soiree going on and you're meeting nefarious characters throughout, and then this chick just rolls out, I think it's Grimes, delivers a performance on the stage. Your objective is way behind you. I just found myself just going, I'm just gonna watch this. Like, it was a really cool moment in the game, and the song was really cool as well. I was like, that's nice. Like,
when it comes to being engrossed in cutscenes, this is a game that I really gave a lot of time to the cutscenes and a lot of those little nice tidbits that you find that you weren't expecting to find around the city. Yeah, I totally agree with you there.
Yeah, I think the acting in it of a lot of these other characters were really, really well done, and kind of nicely put in the voice acting. Obviously, Idris Elba being in the DLC, that was a fantastic, nice little addition. And the DLC itself as a part of the game that gets added in about the middle section of the entire game. So it's not like an afterthought. It flows in and actually impacts the ending of the main game. So the impact of that is fantastic. And there is a bit of a choose your own ending to the entire game. You've got your 3 kind of entry points and then a few exit points, and you can replay the game to try out the different endings to see which one you kind of like, which is, a choose your own adventure element about it.
Also, from a loot and extra standpoint, something that I really loved is that you could go and actually earn money outside of main quests, which I'll take a risk in saying here is not something that Rockstar's nailed. You got most of your currency from doing heists and different and actual main missions in GTA 5. Whereas in this, if I saw a car that I wanted to buy on the catalog in Cyberpunk, I would just go off and do I would respond to emergency calls for the cops, and if you sort that out, you get like $5,000.
Yeah.
Or like if you go and handle a dispute, you notice as you're driving by, you get $10,000 for doing that.
Yeah.
And then it was easy to be one of the things that I love doing in games is trying to become rich.
Well, yeah, I mean...
Right? You can spend a lot of time doing side missions to do that and get the loot that you want. I thought they did that really, really well.
I would agree with you on that you could really amount a huge sort of bounty or amount of money in your bank account by doing all this additional stuff. But, and I think GTA 5 does it, but you just don't get as much, I think.
I remember in GTA San Andreas and GTA 5, just to get a bit of extra cash, becoming like a cabbie. You just steal a taxi and then you do some fares. You're like, I'm only getting like $100 a time doing this.
That's made me remember playing GTA 3, and there was you had to deliver cars, it was gone in 60 seconds, and there was a whole fucking list of them, and they would only spawn in specific areas, and to trigger them to spawn, you had to face one way and then spin around and spin back to get them to respawn off in the distance.
Yes.
And you'd be looking at each car going, is that the fucking whatever hatchback shit I got to deliver or whatever? I did that for hours.
And there's a trade-off between how much is this worth it? For me as an in-game player, am I going to lose a lot of shit doing this, and is the trade-off for the payout enough?
Yeah.
And in Cyberpunk, it always is.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Unless you have another point, let's do ratings.
Last point is, and this could be after we rate it, but the last point is, it probably should be. Anyway, if you pick up this game now and you haven't played it, or you have played it and you're wanting to play the DLC, so if you played it fully through in the last 4 years and the DLC, you haven't done the DLC yet, if you've got the time and you've got the wish and the desire for it, don't do what I did and carry over your character that you've built from the main campaign. My reason for saying that is I came back into this game to do the DLC, brought my character with me. I had all the fucking weapons. I had all the fucking money. I had all the skill tree just plotted out. And you're basically just coming back in, uber set up, and you milk the game.
Completely agree with that. So I think that's why with Remnant 2, the DLC didn't resonate with us as much, because we kind of just walked in and blitzed a new area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think there's a lot of fun in kind of
building
redoing it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there is an option in this, if you have played it, to get a base or a character. I think they even give you the option, get a character that would be around this level at this point in time. So you can kind of skip what you've already done and just kind of pick it up from there, which is really nicely done. And I'd recommend anybody to do it that way.
Yeah, that's great advice. Let's do ratings.
All right, let's hit it.
I'm going to let you lead today.
Storyline, world building, I gave it an 8.8.
Ooh, I gave it an 8.5. What gave it an extra 0.3 there?
8.8 sounds like a really weird rating on it.
It's kind of like, I feel like an 8.8 is like you felt like it was a 9, but then you talked yourself out of a 9.
Basically, yeah. I gave it an 8.8 because I loved the world it was fantastic, and it was just the storyline. The main storyline at times just really faltered for me, so it knocked points off for that, but then it kind of built back up with how good the DLC was. So I felt it should have been a 9, but Johnny Silverhand was such a fucking cringe dude that it became an 8.8.
Fair enough. Mechanics.
A flat 8.
I gave it a flat 8 as well. I felt like some of the upgrades that you did and how the mechanical inputs just didn't make sense. They became redundant for me. I just resulted back to doing normal guns. I'm also not entirely sold on the FPS element of it. Like that was I feel like RPG should be third person. It's a risk. I think it paid off here, but I wasn't in love with it.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Challenge and entertainment?
7.5.
I gave it a 7.
Yeah, we're in the same sort of area. I did find it entertaining, not that challenging. Yeah.
Let's go with the 7.5 because I agreed with a lot of the points that we just spoke about. Character build.
7.
I gave it an 8.
Mm.
I think they gave you a lot of autonomy. The reason I took away marks was it became a bit too much. And like you just don't utilize all the upgrades that you can get. Or it's actually really challenging. It takes a lot of gaming hours to kind of up that skill tree because you really need to pick your build.
Yeah, that is true.
And you just can't can't do them all.
You're probably more leaning to you being right on this one just because of the sheer ability to upgrade yourself, the hacks, that was really well done. I kind of knocked it back just because V himself was sort of, I found him a bit bland. And I don't think he developed too much beyond just,
I know, like, bro, you're dying.
I don't know. Like,
figure it out.
Yeah, like, I mean, there's a whole love story elements of Pan Am and his relationships. I just sort of, all of that, you'd kind of lead it to be this guy having a really fantastical journey through this world, but I always just found him as like a passenger in the game. Like it was weird.
That's fair. Loot and extras.
9, strongest element of the game.
I gave it an 8.5.
Yeah.
And it was entertaining. It was good. There were good add-ons, but it was nothing really too groundbreaking. But it was really solid. So I went 8.5.
I'd encourage you to up it on that one, just purely because of the unique weapons, the cars you'd come across, how good the side quest was. Because side quests, that's where that falls into loot and extras.
That is
true. The side quests were just
and there was a ton
fantastic.
of loot.
Fantastic. And so the loot was really well done. And the musical score as well should be given a credit. I've listened to the Spotify playlist for this game, and I've taken songs from it for my gym playlist. It's a really good playlist.
Yeah, nice, fair. Do you want to hear the score?
Let's hit it. Yeah, let's do it. What are we at?
8.26.
Yeah,
I think that's fair.
That's fair.
I mean, before we started, we kind of said to each other, this was an 8 and above.
Yeah.
Because whilst the initial release was a bit of a flop, they did a lot in a lot of different categories and a lot of different pillars, and they did it kind of nicely.
Yeah, it was a huge redemption. I'm very excited to see where does 8.26 fall into our list. In the scheme of all the other games, where does it land there?
That's a good question. Let's get on to that now. All right. In terms of the rating top game leaderboard, this isn't quite S tier, but it falls within A tier. So it comes in at 8.26, just below Lords of the Fallen and just above No Man's Sky.
I mean, having referenced No Man's Sky, that makes sense. I think it
does
lands
make
in the
sense.
right spot. Yeah.
It shows as well that gamers are rather tolerant. You fix it. If you fix it and just make it the game that you promised us, it'll sort itself out.
Yeah.
Questions from a hat, my friend.
Questions from a hat. Let's do it. Okay, my question for you this week. Which game had the best skill tree? And I've picked this question because it's topical, because skill tree was a huge thing they fixed in this.
Yeah, well, let me preface this by saying it's definitely not Cyberpunk.
Yeah, mine too.
For me, it'd be Doom Eternal. Like, I remember that I think Doom did their skill tree really well because it made sense and it wasn't too much. Yeah. And the skills that you adopted through upgrading different things, like doing glory kills or like being able to melee from further away, it made sense and it was practical. Like you could use it. And by the end of the game, you had kind of maxed out a lot of the skill tree. So you didn't have to like do extras to kind of make it work. So it was practical and it was achievable. I think from a skill tree perspective, that's all that's needed. Yeah,
nice. Mine would be Diablo 2. I think Mass Effect was quite high up there, but Diablo 2 or Diablo 4, and which the great thing about the Diablo games is the builds. I really enjoy when two skills synergize, and it's kind of, this flames them and then this electrocutes and lights them up in chains. Like it's really satisfying when they work together nicely, and Diablo always does that really well.
Synergy. Great word there. Do you prefer a skill tree where you have to make a choice between two different skills, or a skill tree where you can do the whole thing?
I'm going to go the choice one. I'm currently playing Spider-Man 2. That one's got options. Diablo's obviously got options. The ones where it's like every skill goes in a linear path, by the end of the game, you're going to be some uber crazy. Like I feel like Assassin's Creed often is a little bit of that.
It's very much like that,
You kind of get everything by the end, which has its place because you're like, right, I'm a boss now. Like I'm fucking tearing it up.
Yeah.
But I think I prefer choosing. Let me choose the kind of play style I want to do.
Yeah, and there's also the argument between passive skills and skills that you have to actively use. I also like the choice because I like to pick a direction and kind of stick to it.
Yeah, I think gaming's really nailed that whole, the passives, the choosing the skill set and binding them to buttons. They always do that really well. Like it's nice when they do that and it's tight.
Yeah. Nice. My question.
Yes.
I'm going to go a wholesome route here. What's the nicest message or a really wholesome moment that you had in online gaming?
To be honest, like, I mean, most recent memory, is the guy who wrote in that you read out last week, who was like, keep leveling up and referenced our close off. Like, we sort of skirted over that, and I was like, I really like that, because that person's clearly listened to that part of the pod where we talked about why we say that and the levels of that it's not just a simplified message. I found that really heartwarming.
Yeah, no, that's a wholesome moment. Tate's a big dog.
Yeah.
More of that, gangsters. If you want to write in, we're all about it. We'll probably read it out.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, going back further, Grady, that American guy that we used to play Destiny with, he sent me a message recently going, like, checking in with me, going like, is everything all right? And, it's such a nice thing of going, when you're on the other side of the world and you think about a person going, the are you okay stuff of just, how are you doing? Is life treating you well?
Yeah, we get a lot of messages in terms of how the episodes resonate with people, and we get a lot of like game recommendations, suggestions.
We do. We got one about Metal Gear Solid, which, to be fair, I've played that for a hot minute. Whoever it is sent it in. I should remember the name of the individual. Apologies, but
next week, for anyone that's given us a kind of ride in, we'll give you a shout out.
Yeah,
but also we really like questions from a hat recommendations coming. If you have a question that you want us to unpack, write that in as well.
Yeah,
because that's
we would actually love that, because often the most stressful thing I've got is coming up with the fucking questions in a hat.
My most wholesome moment is when I was playing Apex. I was kind of solo queuing, and that's when you play by yourself in a multiplayer game. Okay. I was playing ranked, and I kind of clutched up and saved my two teammates, got us back in, and I think we came second in that game. And then I got a message from one of my teammates that was like, "Hey man, like really good job," but just something you almost never get.
No, you never get
online.
That in an Apex. Yeah.
So we added each other as a friend. He turned out to be like a 15-year-old from Perth, and we ended up just grinding away on ranked together for a little bit.
Yeah, nice.
And I still have him on my friends list, and we occasionally play ranked.
Yeah, cool. Love
Sick.
that.
It's always good to have more people in your kind of network.
Yeah.
And make a community of it. Like,
yeah.
I mean, if we were to talk about the negative messages we got, we'd have heaps of them.
Well,
but those wholesome moments are lovely. That's what makes gaming worth it.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Keep leveling up. Keep leveling up together.
Yeah.
Next week, gamers, I'm going to be doing Grounded, which is from developers and publishers Obsidian, which I have a deep love for. They've made some classic games.
Do you? I'm asking you live on the pod. Do you want to do Grounded and I'll do Senua's Sacrifice and we do a double ep?
Not Obsidian, sorry, Bethesda.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's do a double ep.
Do a double ep, because I finished Senua's, you finished Grounded. I haven't played Grounded, you haven't finished Senua's.
Let's go back to let's go back to our roots.
Let's do a throwback episode.
Double episode coming up for episode 18. Grounded and Senua's Saga. It's gonna be great.
Looking forward to it.
And don't be an NPC.
Keep leveling up, baby.
Thanks, everyone.